Hi folks, and welcome back to the Voice of Tech. Today I'm going to be showing you my best 10 security tips for Windows 10 and 11 computers. It's a bit of a security minefield out there, so these tips should hopefully save you time and give you some extra peace of mind. So, on to tip 1, use the local account. By default these days, when you start using your computer, you're going to be asked to use an existing Microsoft account or create a new one. There are pros and cons to doing this, and for me, for better privacy and security, I always recommend using a local account, which you can still do. Signing in with a Microsoft account means you'll always need this account to log into your PC, and if you ever forget the email address and or the password, you're going to have major issues regaining access, as resetting passwords, for example, can be problematic with Microsoft. This whole area is especially bad if your data has been encrypted. If you can't gain access to your Microsoft account because you've been using a PIN for years and you don't remember your password or even the email address that you originally used, you can say goodbye to your data. I don't like the idea of entrusting everything on my PC with Microsoft, not to mention the potential privacy issues with their tracking pretty much everything. Hence my recommendation to use a local account, as we always used to do before Microsoft started pushing the need for an online account through them. With a local account, you can still sign into various Microsoft services like Office 365, should you need to, or like OneDrive, for example. This method does mean you're going to be needing a Microsoft account at the start, and then we're going to switch to a local one afterwards. So here's the process. So once you've completed setup and you've logged in, all you need to do is go to Settings, Accounts, Your Info, select Sign In with a local account instead. Type the username, password, and a password hit for your new account, and then sign out of Windows and or restart, and you're good to go with your new account. It's as simple as that. Very, very easy. So on to tip 2, use a standard account for daily use. Often when using our computers, we're at our most vulnerable when we're rushed or in a hurry. This means we may accidentally click on a potentially infected email attachment or open a dodgy link without first pausing to consider whether it's the right thing to do. To increase your account security, you can change the account type from administrator to standard. Doing this will mean users with a standard account will need to enter an administrator password to make any changes to their computer, like installing new programs, for example. It can be a pain if you're making lots and lots of changes, installing software all the time, making system changes, because you're going to need that password every time. However, it can be handy to force yourself to stop and think about what you're doing before you do it. As I said, if you're in a rush, for example. So to create a standard user account, all we have to do is go to Settings, Accounts, Family and Other Users, add someone else to this PC, click the I don't have this person sign-in information, click the Add User without a Microsoft account, give it a name. I'm going to go for Test 2. I'm creating this one just for demonstration purposes. I'm not going to bother with a password, but you should put one in, definitely. I'll be deleting this account after I finish this. So once you've done that, entered your passwords, click Next. And there's the account, Test 2, and it's a local standard permission account. If it doesn't say administrator, then it's standard permissions, which is what we're looking for. If, on the other hand, you've got an administrator account that you have a family member that's using that you'd prefer to be a standard permission account, like a child, for example, then just click on the account, click Change Account Type, change on the drop-down box to Standard User, OK, and it's done. So, on to tip 3, create strong passwords. Choosing a strong password to log into your local Windows account is very important. Should your PC be stolen or accessed by anybody working in your house, for example, you're effectively giving them access to all sorts of valuable personal information if you don't use a good password. At a minimum, your password should be at least 8 characters long, preferably 12 or more. It should include upper and lowercase letters, numbers and symbols. However, these can, of course, be very tricky to remember and even enter. Instead, I recommend creating a passphrase password. So these passphrase passwords are made up of several words strung together, along with numbers, symbols, and upper and lowercase letters, usually making them much easier to remember. An example would be, for example, green tea towels, and then the @ symbol 2024 with an exclamation mark on the end. So you can capitalize each of the first letter of each word, and then put a symbol in there, then some numbers, and then a symbol. This would be a lot stronger, much stronger, and easier to remember than a jumble of mixed up letters, numbers, and symbols. The longer the phrase, the better. However, as the recommendation is to use a new or a unique password for every website that you're going to be logging into, definitely the way forward. With multiple passwords, as you're going to have, they're still going to be difficult or impossible to remember for most people, and therefore tempting to write down. This takes us on to our next tip, and that's to use a password manager. So, tip 4, use a password manager. The best and most secure solution for remembering passwords is to use a tool to do this for you, i.e., as mentioned, a password manager. Our best recommendation for this is to use a program called Bitwarden. This is free for personal users and only $10 a year for their premium version with a few more bells and whistles. I've used this great tool for the last few years and it's an absolute lifesaver. With Bitwarden, you can create very strong passwords, as strong as you like, for every login that you need, allowing you to easily log into each website by simply using Bitwarden to pre-fill the username and password fields for you after you've saved the login details for each website, which Bitwarden will prompt you for. So you only need to remember one main and very strong password, which gives you access to your Bitwarden account. Again, this should be a passphrase password so that you can, have a chance of remembering it. And ideally not have to write it down. So, to get started with Bitwarden, all you need to do is head over to bitwarden.com and click download in the top menu and select Windows from the 3 operating system options as follows. So, let's go, I'm going to use Chrome. We'll type bitwarden.com and away we go. Click on download. Choose Windows. Once the download's finished, very quick one, and then install. Doesn't take too long to install. Now, once it has finished the install, it's going to want you to create an account. So get ready to choose a nice, strong passphrase password if you can, because this is going to be the main password to access your Bitwarden account and all of the usernames and passwords that you've stored within it. So it needs to be really, really good. It's the only one that you're really going to need to remember for Bitwarden. All the others will be stored within the program. So finish. So now that we're finished, we can create an account. Click Create Account. Enter the email address that you'd like to use. And of course, your master password. So take a few moments to think about something good to pop in there, because it needs to be strong, as we've already discussed. And once you've done it, pop it in there, pop it in there. You can pop a hint in if you need to, just tick the box. There's going to be a captcha in a moment. There's the captcha, I am human. Click on the item that differs from the rest. So it's going to be the toaster. Next, toaster again, verify. I'm accepted. Click submit again. And your account's done. So we'll just do a quick test login. So master password again. Login with master password. And we're in. Looks good. So I am going to just close that. Actually, no, I'm going to quit Bitwarden. Next thing to do is, again, go back to bitwarden.com, click download, click browser extension. So everything is going to work on your PC or laptop, mostly from an extension that you're going to install in the browser. Choose the one that you use, Firefox, Chrome, Edge, for example. I'm going to go for Chrome. Click Add to Chrome, click Add Extension. It'll appear up here. Once it's done, there'll be a little box come up. Any second now, hopefully. Oh, it's not. Okay, if it doesn't appear straight away, just click the extensions button and make sure it's pinned in Chrome. And it just needs to be something similar in Edge and Firefox to make sure that it shows all the time. So Click on that. There it is. When it's grey, you're logged out. It goes blue when you've logged in. So we're going to log in now using our email address. And continue. Log in with master password. We need the password in there. Log in. And we're logged in. One of the other useful things to bear in mind with regards to a handy feature that Bitwarden has, and that's the ability to generate really strong passwords. So when you're creating an account, you go onto a website, you want to sign up, you want Bitwarden to obviously remember the details that you're using, the password, the username. It will prompt you to save these with a little prompt in the top right hand corner. If you add that, that'll then become an entry for that particular website, for which you can then go to the website another time and it will pre-fill the field or the fields, username and password, with the details that you've saved. When you're creating an account for a company or website, you can click on generator and it will create some immensely powerful passwords depending on what you want. So you can go for a password, you can see the password at the top, you can click copy, and then you can paste it into the password field when you're signing up for a new account. You can also use obviously passphrase passwords where it'll use a number of words, and you can choose to add capitals and numbers as well, just to make it even more difficult. So if I pop a number in there, capitalize, it changes it all on the fly. So and the passwords, you can obviously make them very, very long, super complicated. You'd never remember those, not in a million years, and it would be very, very difficult to type in as well. So really, really handy. Thoroughly recommend that. So what I suggest we do now is to set up two-factor authentication to give yourself extra protection in Bitwarden, bearing in mind you're going to have so many usernames and password accounts set in that package, so you need to make sure it's totally secure. So if we're going to log in, we're going to pop in our email address again, click continue, master password goes in. Having gone in, we need to now go to settings, security, and then two-step login. Now, once we're in here, choose how you'd like to authenticate with two-step login. I suggest you or recommend you use an authenticator app. This will be an app that you install on your mobile phone. And then once it's set up, it's very, very straightforward. Just follow the prompts. It'll ask you to scan a QR code on your phone using the camera for your phone. Once you've got it set up, when you go to log in, you'll pop in your username and your password for Bitwarden, and it will then ask you to generate a code on your app on your phone. So you'll go to the Authenticator app like Authy or Google Authenticator on your mobile phone, and there'll be an entry in there for Bitwarden with a fresh or Authenticator code there ready for you to use. So you just copy the code, paste it in, bang, you're in. So very, very straightforward, really secure. A lot better than text messages with codes going to your phone. Definitely recommend that approach. So once you've done it, once you've got it set up, view the recovery code and copy it and paste it somewhere safe, or print it off and put it somewhere safe. That's there just in case you have problems accessing your account. This is your last ditch method of getting back in. So that is Bitwarden. Brilliant. Free of charge unless you pay $10 a year for the extras that they offer. I'm using the free version. Really, really good. I can thoroughly recommend it. Saves me loads of time. And you can use your Bitwarden account wherever you are. If you've got another trusted PC that you'd like to use, maybe at a relative's house, as long as you trust it, log in with Bitwarden and you can use your saved account details there and on your mobile phone. Brilliant. Absolutely superb. There you go. That's Bitwarden. So, tip number 5, always use two-factor authentication if offered, abbreviated to 2FA. When signing up for an online account and two-factor authentication is offered, I would always choose to accept, of course, and use it. Most of the time, you probably won't have any choice, as many websites are now starting to insist on it. Using two-factor authentication is like having a second lock on your door. It adds an extra step to prove it's really you trying to get in. Even if somebody steals your key, your password, they can't get in without the second key, like the code that's sent to your phone. It's a quick extra check that keeps your stuff much safer. Using an Authenticator app which is another level of security, is like having a digital guard that generates a new secret code every few seconds for your online accounts. It's much safer than getting codes via text message with usual two-factor authentication, because only you and your app can see these codes, making it much harder for hackers to sneak into your accounts. And again, authenticator apps are becoming really, really popular as a next level way to secure your online experience. So on to the next step, or next tip. Tip 6, update Windows. It's really important to keep Windows up to date, particularly with the smaller security patches and fixes that regularly come out. I'm not so keen on receiving the much larger and less frequent feature updates immediately that can occasionally cause problems. I usually wait a while before installing these feature updates, giving Microsoft a chance to iron out any kinks, problems and issues. It's the smaller individual fixes that I'm more keen on getting immediately. So, on to tip 7, update programs. It's always a very good idea to keep your programs up to date, both to get improvements with the software and to ensure that they keep working properly with regular bug fixes, etc. Not keeping your programs up to date can definitely leave you vulnerable to viruses and all sorts of nasties out there. So, on to tip 8, enable System Restore. Have you ever had a major problem on your computer, and you wished you could go back in time to fix it? Well, Windows has a really cool feature called System Restore that allows you to do just that. It doesn't affect your data, but restores your system files, including programs, the registry, and system settings back to a particular date in time using restore points, allowing you to undo any changes to your system, say from malfunctioning drivers or damage from a virus or malware. Really, really useful feature. As an example, if you're worried about installing a particular program, create a restore point first. This will allow you to then restore back to the point before you installed said program. This is useful if the program caused problems for your computer and maybe would not uninstall cleanly. Does happen. System Restore is not enabled by default in Windows 10 and 11, but it should be, as it's a very useful recovery tool. So, if you'd like to use System Restore, have a little play around with it, what you need to do, just search for System Protection in the search box down the bottom left-hand corner and fire it up. And then you can see I've got a couple of systems on this particular computer. This is the one we're interested in, Windows 10. Currently off at the moment, so click Configure, turn on System Protection. Make sure you've got a decent amount of space. I usually allow for at least 10%. If you've got a bit more spare because you've got a large drive, then that would be better. Just means it can store more restore points. If it runs out of space, then it will delete some of the older restore points to free space up. So there you go. Click Apply, click OK. And it is there and ready to run. You can just click OK and finish. However, if you want to create a restore point, you can just go to the same place, click Create, give it a name, whatever you like. Maybe not that. Test, and then just click Create. Usually give it a name and a date, probably more appropriate. And then that creates a restore point at this particular point in time, so you can go back to this point in time if you subsequently have problems with the system. Very handy to be able to do that. So that's System Restore, very easy to use. There are a bunch of other recovery processes that Microsoft have included in Windows that are supposed to do a similar thing, but to be honest, I still like using System Restore. I find it very simple to use, very easy, quick, and it's got me out of a sticky situation on more than one occasion. So there you go, that's System Restore. Tip 9, use good quality antivirus and malware software. While the basic built-in Windows Defender security that comes with Windows 10 and 11 is generally okay, it does have its limitations, and I would recommend a more robust and complete security package like Bitdefender or Malwarebytes, for example, especially if you shop or bank online or not, or use your PC for business. Definitely need to have the best security. So consider that going forward. So, on to our last tip, tip 10, regularly back up your data. The most important thing you can do to enhance your security is to back up your personal data, preferably with a copy stored off-site and online with a cloud-based backup service. Backing up your data is easier than you think these days and can be carried out using either one of the following methods. Number one, back up your data to an external hard drive or flash drive using Windows File History Backup. Number two, you could also back up your data with an online cloud-based service like Acronis, Carbonite, Backblaze, or OneDrive, for example. Many of us don't back up because we simply never quite get around to it, with life getting in the way. However, the loss of your data is more common than you think, with hard drives failing, malicious ransomware, viruses, theft, or some other calamity occurring. It doesn't take long to get a backup process in place, so there's really no excuse not to get your data protected. So, armed with these 10 security tips, you'll now have the best knowledge currently available to tighten down the security on your computer, hopefully giving you peace of mind in this ever-changing digital world we live in. So it's really just about tightening everything down, making sure that you're limiting any potential risks whilst online or even working offline. So making sure that your local account is secured, making sure your online accounts are secured with unique passwords for every site that you log into, and that you are backing up your data regularly. So I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe to be notified of future videos. Thanks again for watching.